So porn star, like that Pete. Hell yeah, Pete just had an orgasm in the back. Pete just went,
I got all of Pete's links right here.
Pete's
you just
links
sent
are
them to
here.
me.
All right, good. So porn star turned Playboy, centerfold, now unemployed. Mia Khalifa, I'm pretty sure the dudes know who she is.
I do.
She was in there. She had some stuff to say about what's happening in Palestine, Christie. And then you have a story about Playboy and the hypocrisy of feminism. Please school us, because I used to date a Playmate, so I want to hear it.
I would love to hear
Oh,
that.
it's your name, bro.
But yeah, so Mia Khalifa, a Lebanese-American porn star, has been fired from Playboy after posting anti-Semitic commentary regarding the Israeli and Palestinian conflict. Now, she's been doing this for some time. In 2021, she branded Israeli actress Gal Gadot as a genocide Barbie when she booked Wonder Woman following her statement on that conflict. And she's posed pictures listening to music around the Nazi regime time. It's been very anti-Semitic for many, many years, but now she's feeling the wrath. The aftermath of these recent events this past weekend, Mia Khalifa again shared her thoughts on the Hamas attacks towards Israel. She posted disturbing tweets, later deleted, championing Hamas as freedom fighters. In a tweet she posted, "Can someone please tell the freedom fighters in Palestine to flip their phones and film horizontal so she can get a better view?"
She said that?
She said that.
Jesus.
In a separate post on X, Khalifa called a photo of Hamas terrorists a Renaissance painting. It was beautiful.
Oh my God,
And
dude.
she attempted to clarify her comments in a follow-up statement, claiming she was championing those fighting for freedom, but clearly the damage was already done. Playboy has actually severed ties with the star. Visitors on her page, to her page on the brand's centerfold platform are now met with a not found notification. I'm going to read to you really quick the email that they then sent to Mia Khalifa.
Oh, she posted it? Or they
No,
posted
they
it?
sent it in an email.
All right,
Playboy
please.
has always been a champion of free speech. We have fought in courts for the rights of all people to speak free from any governmental interference. For 70 years, we have highlighted different viewpoints in the pages of our magazines, our websites, and from thought leaders, creators, and artists who we've platformed on various forms of media. Playboy adds that the company has no place on its platform for hateful and dehumanizing speech, and the recent statement celebrating Hamas is a tax on innocent men, women, children, which we all agree. Consequently, we are hereby permanently terminating you from the Playboy creator platform and ending all other business dealings we may have with you. We want to be very clear. We respect your right to free speech. We also expect that you understand that how you use your speech has consequences. Today, we are calling you out on a hate mongering and severing all ties with you.
Wow.
So this had me thinking of the utter hypocrisies from Playboy after years and years of hush-hush allegations and scandals that have been behind this entire franchise for many, many years, from young women who have spoken out on assaults but have never found their justice. So I remember going down a rabbit hole not too long ago. I found this fascination with Playboy and Hugh Hefner as an editor and publisher, creating an entire magazine. So like every average traditional American woman, high-value woman, we love murder mysteries. And so we watch documentaries on like cults and like serial killers, and I found that American women love to
You know why though?
watch
Because a lot
that.
of them killed their husbands. So they wanna,
Well, we
so
have
they
to
want-
know what's coming.
Yeah,
so.
you want to practice. You're like, it's like a guide. It's like,
Yeah, I like to recognize patterns in like the human psyche and how
Yeah.
cults can create this sort of manipulation, brainwashing, like we see with a lot of children in the Middle East.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's two Playboy documentaries that came out. One on A&E, it's called The Secrets of Playboy, which is more of an inside scoop behind the bunnies who worked in the Playboy clubs for many years. And then The Playboy Murders on Hulu focuses on former Playmates and magazine models who have suspiciously died.
oh wow.
So on both series, as you can see here, Holly Madison, it's one of Hugh Hefner's ex-girlfriends towards the end of his life.
Oh, yeah.
She's on both. She's surprisingly super eloquent, and she's very informed on what's been going on with Playboy for many years. They also have former Playboy bunnies, former Playmates, business associates, and employees talking on those documentaries. So obviously we know that Playboy was known for their extravagant parties. They were like this status of celebrity. They also were a status of like drugs and orgies in their parties. Hefner was very well known for having Quaaludes and different types of drugs right next to his bed. And every time there were women around him, they would take it and they would be kind of out of it. So they would engage in situations.
Yes,
Hugh Hefner called it the Disneyland for adults.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah,
so,
of course he did.
Really quick, by 1970, there were 10 Playboy clubs in the nation and more than 1 million key holders. They were club members. They paid $25 at the time, and they were members for years, they were able to go. The Hefner rule was that members were not allowed to touch the bunnies. And we remember the outfits, right? They're super iconic.
Do I?
So this sparked a lot of confidence in the bunnies simply because they were paid extremely well at the time, more than nurses and teachers. The costume or the uniform was known to be an elevation of like excellence and like untouchability. They were there, they were protected when they were in the clubs. However, when they left the clubs from their shifts, there were tons of stories of the Playboy bunnies and everything. They were talking about kidnappings, assaults, drugging, and rapes from members who attended the clubs. Now, there was such thing that the series revealed of a cleanup crew, which was staff specifically assigned to keep the brand image squeaky clean by taking care of any scandal or problem. The women who were attacked were not allowed to go to the hospital. They were instructed to inform the cleanup staff, which would then tell the security, and they would handle anything to clean up the mess.
Damn.
So an example of like some of the assaults was one former bunny was drugged and raped by a regular member of the club. When she informed the Playboy staff, nothing happened other than his membership being revoked. Multiple assaults happened as girls went to their cars after their shifts. The general manager from one club denied a busboy or the bartenders to walk the ladies to their car when they were asked if they can have assistance because they're, quote, big girls, they can take care of themselves.
What?
So on shift, the bunnies felt protected, but then clocked out, it's like good
rape.
luck. Exactly.
What the hell kind of shit is that?
Another, I'll just like go a little bit lower because then the other series exposes the murder of former playmates, husbands, and boyfriends, and former playmates who were so desperate to maintain the lavish lifestyle that they were actually conducting murders themselves.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah, so one example is Jasmine Fiore. She was 28 when she was murdered in 2009. She was a former Playboy model who was found in a suitcase in a dumpster.
Yeah, easy.
She was nude, all of her fingers were missing, teeth were missing.
What the
She was beaten and she was unrecognizable. It wasn't until they actually identified her from her breast implant, because every breast implant has a serial number. Right.
Oh, what?
Vinny, you knew about the serial number?
Know that?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, she was strangled to death by a former very jealous and raging ex-husband who was obsessed with Playboy models. He was later caught, and Playboy never spoke about it, right? Another Playboy model who was doing cyber chats in the early 90s when that was becoming a thing. Fans paid per minute to speak to Playboy models. With no formal media training from Playboy, the ladies would sometimes reveal too much information about themselves. And as a result, a super fan of this one Playboy model went to her hometown and shot her husband in broad daylight before pulling the trigger on himself. Her name was former January Playmate of the Month Stacey Arthur, and her life was completely destroyed. Playboy never talked about it.
This is crazy.
And then there was Star Stowe, this is the last one, who was a Playboy centerfold in the 1970s, and she actually dated Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Oh, really?
Right? At this point in the time, there were roughly 6 million people reading Playboy. So she became quite famous. Yeah, right. Sure. She started living the fast life. She loved every minute of it. But this poor girl was quietly passed around by Hugh Hefner himself in the Playboy mansion. She would do heavy drugs and was instructed to have sex with very high-profile guests and friends of Hefner. She was also ordered to sleep with Hefner because there was a hush-hush thing. That in order to advance, you had to sleep with Hefner, right?
Of course.
So she wanted to maintain that lifestyle, and she did it for many years. But once she got really addicted to drugs and stuff, she was one of the very few who lashed out on Hefner after some time, and he cut her off completely. So she had no outside resources. She was 22 years old. So what did she do? She turned to prostitution in Fort Lauderdale. To survive. She didn't have any outside resources, so a string of prostitutes were found like a year later, and that's when they found Star. She was found murdered in 1997 by strangulation, and Playboy said nothing about it. So the image of the Playboy bunny had to remain pristine and perfect. Playboy kept everything quiet in order to keep the high-profile status and to keep getting money. So my question for you gentlemen, now knowing this, what are your thoughts on the Playboy legacy, on Hugh Hefner, right? And do you think that a publication and organization like this actually harms women rather than empowers them? Because that's what Hugh Hefner would always talk about. He was like one of the first feminists. He always felt in women empowerment, women's sexuality, being confident in your sexuality. Do you think that that feminist movement is actually a manipulation from some men to get what they want sexually from women, from objectifying women?
I think that whole, I mean, because we would see it as kids and we'd be like, oh my, we'd be like so mesmerized. He was a pimp.
Right.
Basically, you know what I mean? He had to, like, everybody had to go through him. Like, I mean, hats off to, that's like, just sleeping with all these women, which I think is
Right.
kind of just like as
Well,
the,
he was a sex addict.
He was a
he was a big time. I mean, you're Hugh Hefner.
Well,
What-
here's the thing. I'm a hustler guy, so no.
no, but I don't know. I mean, like,
He
don't
was
get me-
ahead of his time. You know, he was an entrepreneur, and like he was really smart with the way that he designed everything. So you know, I could respect the model that he used at the beginning to like the way he started up and all that. But obviously, he was like pretty sleazy with how he things developed.
And the amount of people, all the stories that I heard of women, not just the playmates, the bunnies, just the girls that were kind of affiliated with them, they were getting drugged left and right. Like, wasn't Bill Cosby and shit? They were all there doing all that type of shit, and it's they let it go for how long? Like, it's still. I mean, like, what's the status of the Playboy? Do they still? There's a mansion. Is it still like that?
I mean, Hugh Hefner died in 2017. I feel like ever since he passed, it's kind of quieted down a little bit. And with the rise of the internet, things like Pornhub and everything.
I honestly
we
think
talked
OnlyFans-
about the underground tunnels that he has there that leads to Jack Nicholson's house.
Wait,
Yes.
what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Playboy Mansion.
They would smuggle women. That, like, because Jack Nicholson was married at one point. And
This
so
is
they would-
true? This is a fact?
He would steal them to his house. He would go right into the tunnel,
Oh my
bag them,
God.
and then go right back to the party.
It's like the Vatican.
Let me just slip that through there. Peter, do you know about the caves? Okay. Peter knows about the tunnels, I mean.
Talking about like women empowerment, though, I think OnlyFans has actually been something that's been super empowering for them. You know, like not necessarily Playboy. I mean, it maybe gave them an avenue to get some sort of status and like make money to some degree, but they were still under like a pimp type of control. But OnlyFans, I think, is who knows what kind of like social impact it's going to have. But that's when talking about empowerment, that's been an empowering thing.
But my entire thing is like, these men who saw these women in the clubs and they were dressed in a certain way and they saw them and they still saw them as this kind of like untouchable product when they left. Do you think that it's like such a manipulation of the man's mind that they're objects? So like when you see OnlyFans and you see a girl that you might be a fan
I've never been
of.
on OnlyFans.
Sure, okay.
Peter, are you on OnlyFans?
So like if you see a girl there, but then you see her outside, you don't think that it kind of messes with a guy's mind to think that they're just that, rather than so many other factors. They're just that sexual object that they see on their.
Oh yeah, I think it
account.
totally messes with the guy's mind if you're like, if that's the main way that you're seeing girls like in a naked or sexual way is through like whether it's Playboy or OnlyFans or porn or whatever. Yeah, I think that's like super detrimental to your psychology or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I can make one comment, I feel that it's not, I think women and men too, but specifically women shouldn't look at being like sexualizing themselves as empowerment. I think that's like that falls on women, like you showing off your body and you being a sex object because that's what they were striving for. That's not empowering. You should know the male mind. You should know how they think. They're looking at you as a sex object.
Right.
So I feel that although all the people should be held responsible for doing that to women and the harm, I would take the route that also like women shouldn't be trying to be a sex object. Like they should take responsibility. What they were seeking was luxury. They were seeking the world.
They had
were
broken
seeking
homes in the past.
Exactly. And it's like to then assume that your life is going to be protected and sacred. I think that's like there's a cognitive dissonance there when it comes to thinking I'm gonna dress in lingerie and nothing bad is gonna happen to me. Now, if something does, they should be held accountable. However, that's not empowerment.
Go ahead, Brady.
I have a question.
We're about to wrap
This
up.
is for the girls. This is for the girls. I'm just curious. And I don't know if this is off topic or on topic, but if you're struggling, say you have a kid, and say your husband leaves you with nothing,
right.
but you are hot, you are good looking, and let's just say your skills aren't really like your baking isn't taking off, but that body is. You know what I mean? Like, is that something that nowadays girls have to consider?
I think there are other resources. I think there's always a way. I think that people just aren't educated on what kind of resources they can get. And if you're not skilled, then I feel like put a little pressure on and like find a skill, find something that you can do. There are so many options and opportunities here. We don't live in a third world country where we have to work at a brothel to make money. There's opportunity here, and there's resources, and there's people that can help. I know many Catholic churches who offer resources for mothers who are in need, who are single, and who don't know how to take care of their children, or who don't know how they're going to find the means. There's ways to do it. It's just a matter of like, do you want to do it this route, which you can get it in 30 minutes, but then your entire dignity is out the window, or do you just want to like work at it? You can be successful in both. It's just about your moral compass.
And just to wrap it up, because we're about to finish. When you talk about Mia Khalifa, she's Muslim, and this is the Muslim world, and she's trying to protect like she's speaking up for these guys, these men that are out there doing this crazy shit. Do you realize if she was in Palestine, what they would do to her? They would kill that bitch
Good call.
in 2 seconds because she's a whore.
Yeah.
In the Muslim world, they would grab her and they would kill her. And here she is protecting the very same people that would literally
annihilate
behead
Light
her.
her on fire.
They would literally murder her. And she's out there sticking up for people that are out there killing children.
Yeah.
I've heard, like, I didn't see this or anything. I've heard that she, like, went out of her way to degrade the whole culture. Like, she got banged on the flag. She was wearing, like, a
she did,
hijab.
right.
Like, she was-
I'm telling you right now,
In their
if
face.
you
You
don't
could tell
think
from
that
first
bitch
experience.
has a hit on her, like if they find her, it's game on.